and then just, yeah, pass it over to me shortly after, and
Hello,
I'll,
everyone.
you
Steven's already still talking, and we just got going. So, welcome.
know.
Like always, we always got lots to say. So, welcome, everyone. My name is Mark Curran, and we are here to introduce and talk about the now virtual Spirit Plant Medicine Conference for 2020. With the change in the world and everything that's going on, we had to make a decision, and Stephen Gray and I are here to let you know what we plan and who our speakers are and what you can expect for this new way of doing things in the world. Hey, Stephen, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Lots going on.
Certainly. So,
Yeah.
what's going on with you? What's happening with the conference? Like, where are we starting right now? We're going virtual, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Well, I don't want to ramble too long because we don't have that long, but I'll say that I'll be honest, so to speak, and say that when we realized you just simply were not going to be able to hold a live conference, which was going to be our 10th anniversary, I was a little disappointed at first, slightly disheartened, I'll confess. But then what I began to realize is that an online only format opens up some exciting possibilities that wouldn't normally be available to us. For example, we've got people like John Sheldon, who lives in Massachusetts, is going to come on for a couple of short sessions. He has a studio, so he has really high quality sound and video. And this guy is a master guitar player like you wouldn't believe, and he tells ayahuasca stories while using the guitar both as musical instrument or accompaniment and like jungle sound effects, kind of things like that. So we can have John come in and play for 10 minutes from his home in Massachusetts, that kind of thing, you know. I'm going to have, I've got, so people, a lot of people watching this probably don't know, my my main task, so to speak, is dealing with the presenters, getting all that organized and all that sort of thing. And so I've also gotten excited about the idea of bringing in a few people just for short greetings. Like Julie Holland, for example, has agreed to do this. She's,
Well, before we get into
yeah.
speaking about all
Oh,
the
yeah.
good stuff with the speakers, let's talk
Yeah.
about the conference itself.
Yes,
And
boss.
and well, no, really, because also we dive right in,
Okay.
and that's great. But I kind of want to share with people kind of like the process that we went through because
Yeah.
we were sitting there, we were hopefully optimistic that it would change by October.
Right.
And
Well, we had to give that up,
yeah, well, we did. We held out to the last minute. So if you're wondering why you didn't hear much from us, that's kind of why we were kind of in a holding pattern and we were hoping.
yeah.
But when we realized that it just wasn't going to happen because we had a few different options,
Yeah.
we realized it was time to really jump into the virtual online
Mm-hmm.
platform. And we had done the live stream the past couple of years, which was the beginning of that process for Spirit Plant Medicine.
Yeah.
And you know this is kind of like one of the bonuses of the new ways of the world that's been changing is this
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to be able to bring people in different ways that we couldn't before, like you were speaking about John.
Yeah.
And
That's what I
there
was saying.
and
Yeah.
this is the one thing I want to share with people is that virtual events are gaining a lot of momentum and are getting better and better all the time. I know Stephen and I started, when all this happened, we started doing cannabis ceremonies online, and we weren't sure if it was really going to work, but we thought, well, let's see what we can do because we wanted to serve the community. And then we found that it worked really well. And we just seen the growth and development. I've been learning a lot of stuff going online with different events and things as well. And I've had the opportunity to be experiencing some really large interactive multi-day events that I've also been able to learn from to bring to our Spirit Plant Medicine Conference. So, our goal and our mission here is to make this as interactive and engaging as we possibly can in an online format. And believe me, folks, it can and will be done. And some of the bonuses, like Steven's saying, is we can bring people in for short stuff that we wouldn't necessarily be able to have access to, in a live forum. And we get to enjoy it also from the comfort of our own home. Some of the things is, no lineups for bathrooms. You don't necessarily need to miss anything because you can come back to it. So we're really excited about the lineup and everything that we've got going on and that we're planning out. And, we're really, 8 weeks away, October 23rd, 24th, 25th. And yeah, really excited about, doing something new, doing something different, even though it's not the same being in person. Yet we're going to do our best so that everybody can have an interactive experience, and we'll have a community opportunity to network and connect and things as well. So with that being said, it's just an exciting time for us. And I know Stephen's done a great job lining up, 3 days worth of great speakers from, really all over the globe. So maybe, Stephen, we can start talking about, some of the people you got coming in to join us.
Sure. Before that, I want to toss in two little bits of, I think, relevant or helpful information. One is in what you were talking about, interactive and all that kind of thing, and the fact that we've been doing online ceremonies with cannabis and others that you've been organizing. Uh, I just want to say that what we have learned to our surprise with these is that if you tell people, if you point out to people that there are whatever number of people also doing this at the same time, like we would often have the people up on the screen for our cannabis ceremonies so they could see each other, and then we'd have them introduce themselves. Of course, you can't do that if we have a couple of thousand people at our conference, but they can be reminded and it can be pointed out that there are another thousand or two people or whatever doing this with you. And one of the things that the Spirit Plant Medicine Conference has gotten a reputation for is that we have created that kind of energy where everyone is together. We've always deliberately kept everything into one room when we could have had breakout rooms, but we put everybody together because we've created a kind of a quasi-ceremonial, or what I like to call a ceremony light vibe, and people have loved that. And so even though it's obviously not the same, not being able to be in the same physical space, there's an uncanny, you might even call it morphic resonance that can happen, and people can really feel the sense that there are, however number, in this case quite a few people doing this together. And so we're trying to recreate that. That's one thing I wanted to say. The other one is just a quick shout out to Hubcast Media, because they were doing our AV the last 2 years and the live stream, as you mentioned. But this year, you and I, Mark, are going to be going out to their studio and hanging out there for the whole weekend and hosting this. And these guys are world class. Like, it doesn't get any better. They have the best equipment. They have the expertise. They've got all that stuff. So this is going to be done at a very highly professional level, production value wise. Now, as
Well,
far
and I'd like to comment on that some more as well, Stephen,
you
because I
go right
think
ahead,
what
Mark.
what you're what you're saying is really really important, because the online events, what we're pushing to do, we got three different levels of opportunity, right? Where a lot of online events are just people speaking on a Zoom room, and that's kind of that. You don't get to see or be part of anything else. So our goal here is to have separate Zoom rooms for folks, so that there's communities in each room, and you can actually see the people that you're in with. You can chat with them, you can connect, while you're also having the main stage being fed into that room. And the experience will be really what each person makes it from where they're watching. So if you're engaging and connecting and everything else, then you're going to have a much different experience than if you're just kind of passively partaking. So that's one of the ways that we make it better in terms of the connection in the community, because as Stephen was saying, it's one of the things that we really love about the events that we've had, is the community that gets built around it. And our
Mm-hmm.
goal is to keep that, really as, the container as, tight as we can, and the opportunity for people to still meet and connect versus just being separated.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we've done. I've had the opportunity to work some pretty powerful events, with 25,000 people, 78 Zoom rooms, and I've seen interactivity that's lasted 16 hours a day that really blew me away. And what we know in terms of what we've been able to do with our cannabis ceremony, sound healing journeys, and things of that nature, it works really, really well. Which is
Mm-hmm.
another little, surprise. We're going to have a cannabis ceremony, like always, on the Saturday night of the event, and you can join anywhere in the world.
Right. So before I go through a few of the speakers, we don't have time to talk about them all. Let me just say quickly a bit about that format, the whole format of the weekend. It's 3 full days, starting at around between 9 and 9:30 Pacific time, of course, each of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, October 23rd, 4th, and 5th. And we have also built in, this is another thing that's allowed us the kind of flexibility that we have with an online only format. We've built in most cases, 15 minutes between speakers. And this is going to help with that kind of interactivity that you were talking about. We're going to have people guiding us through movement. We're going to have musicians live, in a couple of cases right there in the studio with us, but sometimes online. We're going to have a psychedelic comedian who is a wonderful guy, amazing, funny guy named Adam Strauss. And we'll also use those times for mentioning our sponsors and,
Vendors and things. Yep.
vendors and that kind of thing. So we're going to mix it up a lot in there in those times. And so, and also another thing that we've done differently this year, and I'll say this is that was at quite honestly at your urging, Mark, and I liked the idea. Was normally we most of you've probably noticed if you've been paying any attention to the psychedelic conferences and community and so on that most of these people have a lot to say, and so I've generally offered them the option of whether to have Q&A in their talks or not, and most of them don't because they got a hell of a lot to squeeze into 45 minutes or whatever. But this year, and it's Mark at the end, why don't you talk about the levels of ticketing? But for the moment, I'll just say that for premium ticket holders, we're going to have a situation where 15 minutes, the final 15 minutes of most talks is going to be a Q&A. And for the premium ticket holders, they will be able to have their image right up on screen and ask questions personally and directly to the speakers. So that's another thing I'm excited about this year. As I mentioned earlier, we're also going to have little greetings from different people in the community, kind of bring in the family, as it were. But then let me go through a few of the speakers. Stop me when I've gone on too long, Mark, will you?
Yeah, I will.
So, of course, a man who hardly needs any introduction these days, we'll start with him because he's the most well known, which is Paul Stamets, of course, arguably the world's, if not the one of the world's leading experts on mycology, the study of mushrooms of all kinds. Uh, he's become surprisingly even more well known recently with this wonderful film that, if you haven't seen it, folks, I highly recommend it. It's called Fantastic Fungi. It's a great film, and it's about all the different things that mushrooms can do, and including the psychedelic functions, the healing and awakening functions. So Paul's going to be part of this. Let's see who else. Tony Bossus is another person that he's not that well known, but he's a true major player. He's from back east in the United States. He's been involved with these studies at Johns Hopkins University and elsewhere, working directly with the FDA these days. So he's a very significant figure in the work to get psilocybin mushrooms in particular recognized legally for therapeutic work, and he's been involved with that work. So, and he comes highly recommended. A couple of friends told me he was their favorite speaker at another conference that we were aware of a couple of years ago. Let's get to some of the women here. Well, we've got Zoe Helene, of course, who's the
Well, and before you get going with the Zoe, I just want to let anybody know, if you're watching this right
yeah.
now on Facebook or wherever you might be watching it, I'm
Uh-huh.
throwing a link in the comments to, as a little bonus for you guys, Paul Stamets' talk from the 2018 conference.
Hmm.
So it's a nice little bonus for you there.
Good.
You can see
Yeah,
what
so you
Paul's
know
talking
what,
about.
Mark, I don't actually need to, go into much detail on these people because there's a few that we have not got up on the website on the presenter page yet. Most of them are there. The remainder, there's a couple of openings that we're still settling right now, but another 4 or 5 are going to go up in the next couple of days. So, the bios on these people will be up there. But let me just go through a few of them more briefly anyway. So, of course, there's Zoe Helene, who's been a big part. She's part of the family now, and she's the founder of Cosmic Sister, and the mission of Cosmic Sister is to support women in psychedelics. That's the simple version of it. And so Zoe's been providing grants and helping me find just remarkable people. Oh yes, and before I forget, I want to say this. We've always tried to be culturally diverse with our speakers, but it hasn't been easy oftentimes to find people from minorities and people from other, regions of the world. Bringing them up from South America physically is not necessarily the easiest thing, and that's one of the cool things about this online version is because now we can have people like Nan Shuni Giron, who's a brilliant and highly experienced Mayan daykeeper, they call her, ceremony leader, psilocybin mushroom guide, et cetera, from Guatemala. And so, it might have been a little bit of a problem to get her up here, especially trying to get a few people like that from far-flung locations. But Nan can sit in her home and give a talk. So we've got her. We've got a woman from Ecuador, Rocio Alcaron, who's another remarkable human being who's been doing all kinds of work with ayahuasca and these medicines and activism work and environmental work and so on. She's a heavy. She's a master. So we've got her within. We've got yeah. So the most culturally diverse, ethnically diverse lineup we've ever had. Gender balance, by the way, pretty
Well
much.
done, Stephen.
I think there are more women than men on this year's lineup. I haven't counted exactly. But we have, for example, Chioma Nwosu from Los Angeles, who's Nigerian background, Maneli Eustacio Costa, who's also going to help with the cannabis ceremony. And I mentioned these two other women that I just mentioned. Rachel Conwell, she's Rachel. She's amazing. She's a quote unquote white person, but she's a performance poet and artist, and she's just wonderful, really brilliant. Oh yes, Jalida September is going to perform some music. She's another woman of color. Who else have we got here? Oh, you cannot forget to mention Bruce Damer. A lot of people know him, but he could be better known because he's a true visionary, Bruce, and he's such a positive guy as well. He's really brilliant. He's done software modeling for NASA, the space agency, but he's an astrobiologist, but he also is a, really deep explorer of psychonaut realms. And he has this amazing vision, which I just love, and it's so central to the work we're doing that as a species, I mean, I could go on about this, but I'll just put it really briefly, that Bruce is seeing us becoming this is his language, a meta-organism, where we're starting to recognize at a much more effective, you might say, powerful level, that when a collective of people have a shared vision and put their minds to it, unequivocally, unambiguously, it can manifest, as Bruce puts it, it can create ripples in the probability factor of the field. And so he's not only brilliant, but he's a very important voice. We have several couples that work with medicines. We've got Josh and Kelly, who are cannabis masters, growers, educators, and so on. We've got Darcy and Robin, who work with Huachuma, the San Pedro medicine. Let me see, who else? I don't know. Chad Charles, his specialty. That's another thing trying to do, by the way, is get a great variety of voices talking about different medicines and different perspectives on all this. So Chad Charles works with 5-MeO DMT. So we're getting that one in there because it's getting a lot of attention these days. Solana Booth is Native American from, I believe, Washington State in the U.S. And I couldn't even begin to tell you what her background is. She's got a CV that's longer than my arm. She's been incredibly involved with activism and education and psychedelics, in many different ways. Can't forget Michael Stewart Annie, who was fair number of people's favorite speaker at the 2019 Spirit Plant
I'm going to
Medicine
drop a
Conference.
link for his video from the last one from
Yeah.
last year in the Facebook comments as well, too.
So, when we were going to go be doing it live, he was one of the first people I thought of because he was so engaging last year. And he will be back with us in this version this year. So, if any of our presenters are listening and I didn't get to you, or watching and I didn't get to you, please excuse me. I don't want to take more time to do this, but we've got. I'll just mention a couple more, but this is not exhaustive. There are more. There's Martin A. Lee, who's the head of Project CBD and a great spokesman on behalf of CBD and cannabis in general, author of some very successful books. Our wonderful medicine hunter, Chris Killam, who also has a new book coming out in a couple of months called The Lotus in the Bud, based on his 50 years of experience with yoga and the way that it can work with cannabis for the benefit of people, and a few more. Back to you, Mark.
Well, and I like what you're saying, Stephen, because there is a lot of great speakers and a lot more you can share about them. But I encourage you all to go visit spiritplantmedicine.com. There'll be a full list of our speakers and description of their bios and backgrounds, and not to mention our house sound healer and musician Theta Phoenix is going to be there as well. I believe she'll be there for the weekend and serenading us with her beautiful music. So, that being said, we're looking for just a really great opportunity. We're working on the basically the lineup and the schedules, but you might be wondering how you can attend and what's this going to cost or what's it really going to mean. Well, what we've done is we've set up 3 levels of tickets. Now, if you don't already know, Spirit Plant Medicine has put together in the past year or so a collection of its videos and presentations from all past years. And we have a membership site that this is where the live stream will be broadcast to. So the first entry level ticket really for the live stream is a $97 ticket. It gives you access to the full live stream, and you can go into the membership site and you can watch it all there, and it'll all be in there. And because you'll get a free membership with part of our free membership package with that ticket tier, which will give you access to a number of different videos we have in there, some interviews and things of that nature. And then that's going to be your entry level opportunity. And when you do sign up for that, you'll also get a 7-day trial to our full access membership package.
Mark,
And
can I interrupt for a second?
you just did.
Oh, thanks. Can I ask a question? You just did. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just want to be clear for myself. When they purchase that ticket, do they have access to? Because not everyone, people aren't going to be able to watch everything for 3 days.
They'll have access for 30 days to the
30
full
days
live
after
stream.
they can
Full
watch the
30
stuff
days after, because
they
this is the
missed.
one
Yeah.
thing with the virtual
Right.
stuff,
Yeah.
right? You have the opportunity to go back to it. You can take notes. You can, and we're going to make sure that you have that, because we want you to have as much value as we can possibly bring to you from this conference. And it's nice to be able to go back, especially if you want to take more notes and things of that nature. So you can have access to that for 30 days. And if you just go for the second tier package, which is only $144, it's not a lot. And for all you folks watching who aren't Canadian, that's Canadian money. So $144 is like what, $10 US.
Yeah.
That's a joke, but I think it's about $100 US or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, we're doing our best to keep this as affordable, because we want as many people who are interested in the healing properties of these psychedelic plant medicines and psychedelic teachers to be able to get on. So, and just as a little hint, I put a discount code in the Facebook comments. Don't tell Stephen Gray, but there's a discount code there. And it's SPMC 2020. And then, so at the $144 level, what you're going to do is, this is where it becomes the interactive portion. The $97, you're just watching it. It's that, entry level position. Then at the $144 for what we call our interactive ticket, you're going to get a Zoom access. So you're going to be in a Zoom room with community. You're going to be able to chat and things. And you may even be selected to ask the speaker some questions. You'll definitely have a Q&A feature in your Zoom area. So we get questions, we can feed them to the speakers, and we're going to throw in some more bonuses in there as we work along. And the other bonus for that is, from the time you buy your ticket, you will get a 1-year membership to our Spirit Plant Medicine archives. I call it the Netflix of plant medicine, because we've got over 120 plus presentations from the past years of the conference. So, and that alone is $144 value, right? So basically, you join our membership, you're getting the live stream free, and you've got a year access to that. So that's our second tier entry. And then at 244 is our VIP, which will be a separate VIP room. Those are the gang who will have the opportunity to speak to the speakers live when it comes up to questions and answers and things of that nature. And you also get the 1-year membership. And we're going to be throwing in some breakouts. So during the lunch break and things of that nature, on each day, we're going to be having speakers come in and speak to you directly, where you can converse with them, ask questions. They might share different parts of more information with you. We're not exactly sure what they're going to share at this point because we're working out the details, but it's going to give you an opportunity as a VIP to be there, to be live, to be interactive with the speakers. And there's going to be at least 3 of those opportunities during the lunch breaks, and a couple of opportunities again throughout the weekend as we plan it all out and work out the fine details. Yes, Mr. Gray.
Oh, well, that way you won't be able to tease me by saying you already did interrupt. Um,
I
um,
just love having fun with you, man.
yeah, pulling my chain. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Or yanking. Yeah, anyway, just wanted to say regarding those VIP lunch breakout things, got 2 of them nailed. I won't tell you, I won't say who we're looking at for the third one because it isn't settled yet, but the 2 are, one is Michael Stewart Annie and Chris Killam
Yes.
together, and those guys are
Awesome.
2 of the most engaging, loquacious, and intelligent and gracious and knowledgeable people you could find. So they have a little chat with each other for a few minutes, and then they'll open it up for questions. And the other one is the woman that we actually had speak, I think it was at last year's conference, called the Dank Duchess, and she's going to talk about making your own hash. And so she'll give some instructions on that, and she'll share some links of some YouTube videos or some kinds of videos you can check out to make your own hash. And then she'll answer questions. And this lady, one of the reasons that we selected her for doing this is because she is one of the most engaging people you will ever meet. It was interesting because she was a little nervous about going on and giving her talk last year, and so I wasn't expecting such a dynamic, charismatic character. And she just got up there and she owned that stage. She's a real character. She's really out there, um, just full of life, and extremely knowledgeable. And the other reason is she apparently now has quite a following. So she will hopefully have some of those people coming along with her. So we're happy to have her, and there'll be a third one that I'm still working on at the moment.
Yeah, and who knows? We're going to load this up as much as we can. We got 3 days. We're going live. We're going virtual. So our goal is to put as much great content as we can
Hmm.
possibly get in there, and we're working on it every day.
Yeah. So
So,
just so,
oh yeah,
if I
sorry,
may,
go ahead. Yeah.
this, I just want to say I just want to say quickly about both the cannabis ceremony and the Friday night event. So the cannabis ceremony we've done, as you said, in the last 2 years. It's been extremely successful. People have been very surprised at how deep you can go. And as we mentioned earlier in the conversation, there's this sense that you're doing it with other people, even though you're not in the same room for this environment, because we know this from our cannabis online ceremonies. So if you're with us and you have a puff at the same time everybody else does, and you sit there, and we have Theta Phoenix doing some sound journeying, we have John Sheldon's going to do some beautiful guitar work, we have Manelli Eustacio Costa going to do a little bit of breath work, and we'll do a little bit of silent meditation, just real short 3-4 minute things in between. People will be amazed at how far you can go into a deep opening in that kind of environment. So that's that one. And then the Friday evening, we figure that by dinner time Friday, most brains will be full of intellectual, cerebral, informational content. So we're going to hit their other side of the brain and heart, hopefully, on Friday evening by making it musical. So Rachel Kahn, I think, is going to be doing one of her performance poetry things there. John Sheldon's going to do something in there, I think. And one or two other people. Adam Strauss is going to be part of that. He's the psychedelic comedian. He had this very successful tour called the Mushroom Cure going for quite a while. I heard him at Psych Science 2017 in Oakland and just loved his little 15-minute bit that he did there. So that's Friday evening.
Great. And just as a heads up, the for that cannabis ceremony, it's included in the VIP package, and it's just a $20 add-on for those of you who want to join us on Saturday, whether you're at the just the entry level position at $97 or the interactive at $144. It's $20 to just join there, and when you sign up, you'll get they'll ask you after you select the ticket that you purchase. So you can just select that there. And then the Friday night, that's for everybody.
Yeah.
So we're looking to,
And
again, keep
yeah,
adding value.
yeah, and the $20, again, remember that's Canadian mini dollars,
So that's like $1 American. No.
quasi dollars, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's really what you might call a token sum.
Oh, a
Yeah.
token. Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
punny, Stephen
Couldn't resist a
Gray.
bad pun in there somewhere. Yeah.
Hey, that's a
Yeah.
great pun. I love it.
Yeah.
So, but that's really what we're working on, and we're also open to vendors. We're just launching vendors and sponsors. So if there's anybody out there who wants to sponsor the work that we're doing, you have an opportunity to sponsor a speaker. You can come in as a vendor. So in the studio, we're going to bring in some vendors so we can share your products and services to the community who may be watching. So one of the things, if you're in that sort of business at all, it's really important to have some sort of an online, web store or website so people can follow you. But you can reach out to us personally through the website. We're just putting that together and working out the details with vendors from last year and people who are interested in supporting some of the speakers in terms of what we're doing. So reach out. There's a vendors tab up there with the contact information, and I'd be happy to tailor a package to suit your needs and find a great way to make it work, because we have a number of different options and opportunities for that, and we're just going to kind of roll with the flow and do our best to make sure everybody's taken care of.
Right. So I think you had indicated you didn't want to make it much longer than this. So let me just put in a little bit of a cheerleading commentary to sum up here. We're very passionate about this work. We're doing it for what I think people, quite honestly, we're not boasting by saying this, are the right reasons. We're not in it for glory, or we're not going to make a lot of money out of this. We're just going to get whatever's left over at the end after all the expenses. But we're doing it for a vision, because we're part of that vision. We see ourselves as part of that vision, which is that we are at an extremely sensitive nexus point on this planet right now. And there needs to be a lot of awakening, a lot of healing, and a lot of awakening, and a lot of different ways of looking at this planet and our relationship to it. And we know, and as you do, if you've had much experience with psychedelics, we know anyone who's had a kind of a glimpse of the divine, as it were, or done some deep healing work with psychedelics, knows that these substances are arguably, well, I wouldn't even say arguably, I would say they are, when used properly, our most powerful allies and tools to aid this awakening. And they are coming forth very rapidly, more and more so now, for that reason. And so this is what we're doing the conference for. And it's a vision, it's a prayer, and we really hope that as many of you as possible will join us for this, for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And the beauty that I love about this platform is really a big part of the opportunity that we can serve a more global interest. We can reach more people around the world, the people who couldn't necessarily be here live in person, for
Hmm.
travel, for whatever that is. It opens up that opportunity. You can watch it at any time. You can come back. For most of you're probably going to have access to it for the next year, which is a great opportunity. So you can always show some friends, people who are interested in learning. We want to make this information affordable and valuable and transformational. And that's one of the missions that we're on. So it's an exciting time as we adjust with what's going on in the world and how things are changing. And if you know anybody, please share with your friends. It's an opportunity to really share this work around the world in a way that we can create a global transformation for all of humanity, for Mother Earth. This is the time that we can do some really great work and reach a lot of people. And we ask for your help in sharing the word with your friends and family and people who may be interested. And it's our goal to make this, my goal, and this is really a personal goal for me, is my goal is to make this a very unique virtual experience that will, I want you guys to leave, uh, you know, kind of shocked and surprised and going, oh my God, that was really something else. Because, you know, some of the online conferences, you know, aren't necessarily as exciting. I know I've participated in some, and some are through the roof. So our goal is to make this something that you'll talk about for the next year until we come back live with our 10th anniversary edition, which, because this is our 10th year, Spirit Plant Medicine's been on the go. However, we are not calling this our 10th year anniversary because we're waiting for that one so that you can all be here with us live in person as community. And it's going to be a great celebration when that happens. And right now, I think we've got that tentatively planned for November, the weekend of November 7th, 2021, as long as we are allowed to convene in mass populace and things of that nature. But right now we're going with the flow. We're respecting everybody's place and what we have to do to make things happen. And we really are excited about bringing something really quite exciting and a new way of doing things as the world's changing. You there, Stephen?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought you froze there for a second.
What can I add to that, Mark? Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's fine.
I don't know.
I'm done. I said my little, closing remark thing.
All right. Well, please, if you're interested, join us. If you have any questions, reach out, hit the website, spiritplantmedicine.com. You can contact us there. And we're really look forward to seeing you in a short couple of months. And again, remember, you have a discount code, SPMC 2020.
That's V as in virtual.
Yes, that's because it's virtual. Anyways, Stephen, thank you very much for your time this morning. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, any questions, any information, hit us up on Facebook and the website. And we look forward to seeing you in October.
All right. Cheers, everyone.
Till next
Be
time.
well.